Hi, happy Sunday. Hope you've been reflecting, that you're able to reflect on the verses that I gave you guys on Monday, which was Mark chapter 4, verses 31 through 32. And this was read in Mass last week, and spoiler alert, it was about the mustard seed. So I'm going to talk about the mustard seed and kind of what I'm trying to do here. So the verses say, "It is like a mustard seed, which is the smallest of all the seeds on earth. Yet when planted, it grows. It becomes the largest of all the garden plants, and such big branches that the birds can perch on in its shade." So this is in Mark chapter 4, which is known for Mark wrote about the parables that Jesus gave, and the parables which were symbolic stories. So we're going to talk about the little bit of symbolism of the mustard seed, which kind of flows into what I'm trying to do here. So all the readings that were read at Mass last Sunday, and that I read every Sunday, typically all have the same theme, and not always, but usually at least one or two of them have this similar theme. And last week, the theme that stuck out to me, which it could be different for everyone, but for me, it was mainly about the theme of creation, and they were popular readings that were read in baptisms. So the start of new life, pretty much. And the readings from last week were Mark chapter 4, Ezekiel chapter 17, and 2 Corinthians. So in all those readings, they're common for baptism and the theme of creation. The theme per person might be different because it's God speaking to you. So it's whatever you think God is saying to you, which is why it's known as God's Word. When you hear the readings at Mass, it's God's Word. So it's whatever you think and feel like God is speaking to you, and what you see as the common theme of the readings. Always feel free to comment on this post about what you thought from the readings and what you kind of got from them. But I got theme of creation, especially with the parable of the mustard seed, which has always stuck out to me, and I've always been confused. What does the mustard seed even mean? I've never seen a mustard seed before. At least I don't think I did have. So anyway, the major theme of creation, especially in terms of new life, brand new life. It's usually used in baptisms. The specific meaning was, the first parable was really of the sower, which kind of bleeds into this parable of the mustard seed. But Mark, who was the gospel writer of where these verses came from, Mark is known for writing down his lessons, especially Jesus' parables, which he uses as symbolic stories in order to use as his teachings. And a parable is a way for someone to teach. You use something as a symbol to represent a big message or concept. So in this specific case scenario, the mustard seed is a symbol of God's word, and how it can grow no matter how small it is. God's word can grow as long as it's planted and accepted. So, like the mustard seed, it represents God's word. So the mustard seed can be planted and it will grow. So just as we receive God's word and it's planted and it grows. No matter how small, but if he planted, if he used his words and his actions, it will spread to be much more than a guy speaking to you up in the sky. I don't like to think of it that way. I mean, pretty much what I'm doing right here. I'm using God's word as a mustard seed, and it's been planted inside of me, and I'm hoping that I can spread God's word, just like the verse implies the branches, so the mustard seed can turn to the branches, and I can spread God's word just as easily. So people will catch along to your words and actions, inspired by his word, and they'll grow just like the mustard seed. So when you use God's word, especially through actions, it will be sown and spread like big branches, just as the verse says, that his word will be planted and spread through your words and actions. People will be influenced by the way you act. The key is the way you act and the way you speak. So like the saying, practice what you preach, it's kind of subtly in the Bible too. Practice what you preach. So people will be influenced by the way you act, the energy they give. The word reference that I like to use is this domino effect, the mustard seed. All I know is that it can be like a domino effect with your own free will and how you let it grow, just like a mustard seed. So this is from last week's readings, but it's also very, very symbolic. Many people interpret it different ways. So just like what I'm trying to do is like the mustard seed. Plant the mustard seed, and it's been planted in me, and I hope that you feel a sense that's planted in you, and that you can go out into the world and spread God's word as well. So that's pretty much what I get from that. Again, feel free to comment on what you get from it. Have a great Sunday. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.